Hello, everybody. Welcome. As promised, I'm going to talk about how I use Zoom and how I use Zoom for my clients to capture and create amazing customer, student, client, insert your own thing there moments. And what I mean by moments is it's testimonials, or it can be success stories, which I'm going to explain the difference between them, but you do need them both, and how you can use these little clips that you can record yourself and edit yourself to do the selling for you. Here's the thing. I like to call these your trust videos. Yes, they're social proof videos, but they're trust videos it's a human to human connection. People are buying from you. I like to use video, especially, hey, Tara, I like to use live video, particularly for the connection of know and like. You know, we all know the triad, right? Know, like, and trust, and your customers will buy from you. Hey there, it's this Facebook user, but hello back. And so what we want is the know and like is when you're showing up consistently on video. You're showing up and you're giving good value. You're making the ask, you're making offers. The trust really comes from the other people that you're helping. And so this is why I like to call these the trust videos, and they can be little 1-minute clips, or I do something called a testimonial, where I take a number of clips and I put them together. And I just finished a project with Mary Barbera, who is launching her book, and I am going to put that up there because I just think it's an amazing, the work she does is amazing. It's really nice too that she allowed me to use her clips. I'm going to show them, and I'm going to show you the raw footage, what I got off of Zoom, and then what we do and how we use them. And I think that's really important. So you can go to Turn Autism Around to check Mary out. Her story is amazing. The work she's doing is amazing. But the reason you really want to be using these types of video are for trust, right? Because hearing the powerful stories, or hearing a transformation, or ROI, and I'm going to talk about the kind of questions you want to ask, actual results from real clients, customers, students, have a very powerful emotional effect. In my 6 and 6 class, I teach about mirror neurons, and mirror neurons are essentially, you see someone else that has something and you want it. You watch a commercial, little girl's eating ice cream, you want ice cream. Mirror neurons in effect, right? But your heartfelt stories of real people will tap into these mirror neurons, and folks will watch it and say, I want that too. Now, it's not as simple as just having someone send you a loom. And I'm so sorry, because I keep seeing things and I keep going into groups and everybody's like, oh, just have people send you a loom. And here's the thing, we're talking about video. So the fact that you're entering into online, even you here, sitting here, not everybody here really wants to tackle the video, right? So what about your students and your clients? They definitely don't want to, and they don't have to, because that's not what they're doing. You do have to, because you have to be visible. So how do you get them to show up? How do you make it compelling? How do you edit those things together? So those are all the things we're talking today. Hey, Heather. Hey, Vicki. And so it's really important to have this in your toolbox, because I like to say that these are the videos that do the selling for you. So many of you come to me and you're really not comfortable selling, which I can help you get over. But beyond that, these are the videos that will do the selling for you. And when I talk about how my clients use some of these videos, I use these videos. A big part of my clients, a lot of them use them on the sales page. They either use it in conjunction with their own sales video, or it replaces the sales video completely. So let's dive in to again, the testimonial versus the success story. And here, when we're talking about creating these, I want both, right? So a testimonial is about you as the person who has the course, the product, the membership. Thank you. It's funny, whoever just said you look so pretty, because one of my eyelashes feels like it's falling off my face a little bit. So I'm tempted to see how long it can go before it becomes a little spider crawling down my face, but I digress, right? So your testimonial is really about you. Tracy is great. She's a great facilitator. I love working with Tracy. She's so funny, blah, blah, blah. Their course is great, right? That's a testimonial. A success story is how you used my coaching, how you used my course, how you took Live Video Launchpad and went from I am chicken shit to going live every week, right? Like, and what that means to your business. That's a success story. And too many times I see people confusing these, asking their folks for testimonials, and the testimonials are all the same. You've been there. You've seen someone's sale pages where you're like, yeah, tell me something different. Tracy is great. Tracy is helpful. Tracy does do this, right? But that's a testimonial, and it has its place, right? Tracy is great. Jennifer Miller is great. And so, but that's not going to have someone trust the program. If I'm charging you money for something, I want to hear that someone else also paid that money and then got here. That's your success story. So the success story is about, yes, maybe there's parts of it how you facilitated that, but it's really about your program, about your coaching, about the transformation. Now, they can get mixed up a little bit, and that's why when I talk about hopping on Zoom, I ask some questions that are more testimonial-like. I mean, for some of my clients, I had a really fun one where I only had a few, and I had the people talk about the actual person. Her name was, well, actually, I'm not going to reveal her name because I don't have permission, but I said she had coached them, and I said, look into the camera, and if you have a message to her, just give her a message. And so I had them look directly into the camera and give her, and then I strung them together. There were only 4 of them. And just as a little gift, I said, when you're feeling down, when you're not sure what you're doing, go look at these. And it was a beautiful thing. Now, I personally was hoping she would maybe use them somewhere because it was so touching, and there was such a depth of who this person is as a coach that you couldn't help but look at those people and go, wow, they really trust her. So even though the whole clip wasn't really about the coaching, the ROI, that type of thing, it was directly related to the kind of person that you were giving your money to, and you want to have integrity with that. And so this type of video showed integrity. So that's the difference. That was a very basic, the difference between testimonial and success stories, and you use them differently, right? But what I'm talking about is after you work with someone, many of you have just finished live video launchpad, woot, woot, right? We had an awesome cohort number 8. You will hear from me. I will ask you to hop on a quick Zoom. So a lot of times when people are like, well, if you don't want me to ask for a Loom, because the Loom, again, and I use Loom as like any kind of recorded video, sending it to you on your phone, that type of thing. You are letting the video gods, because you're going to get a shitty video and then you're not going to use it. And this person went to the trouble, and they want to do a good job for you because they like you. So make it easy for them. Asking them to drop a quick video. And I know there's like apps now where you can just have them log on and do it. I have clients who use that, who can't use any of the footage. They can't use any of the videos because they suck. Elena says, what shall I do if I'm just starting out and don't have success stories yet? Well, Elena, you're in a great place. Start taking notes, because everybody that you work with, you need to set them up. So I always plant the seed. Everybody in LVL knows that I'm going to reach out to them and they're going to hop on a quick Zoom, but you should be collecting screenshots of wins. You should be collecting, and when I talk about the kinds of questions, Elena, write those down so that when you're done, you can send them. I like to send a survey, and then at the bottom of the survey, I said, can I use, give me a testimonial. I say, like, here for a few words about that. Once I have that, then I usually hop on a call with them. So generally for social proof, so I'm not going to go too far into it, Elena, because what you're talking about is you need social proof. You can use myths, you can use statistics, so if you haven't helped people do exactly what you're supposed to be doing, although I'm guessing you have with friends and family and that type of thing, then you need to use this statistics, easy for me to say, of other people who have, and say coaching like this has helped people get from here to here. That's part of your talk track, right? Until you can get people on board. Again, a lot of times when I'm doing a course, I will run it at a beta. First of all, I never create a course first, ever. I do a beta group before I even have a sales page or anything else, for testimonials, for social proof. I don't have anything out there that doesn't have shit ton of social proof, even if it's a new program, because someone has gone through that. Mary, hey, while Mary's on here, everybody, even though it's the second time I'm putting it up, let's give Mary a little love, because I'm going to be showing Mary, who just hopped on with us. It is Mary's program. She has a program, Turn Autism Around. She has some courses, but she also is launching her new book. She has another book, and this book is turnautismaround.com. Please go check it out. Please go support it. It is not specifically for kids who have been diagnosed with autism, because sometimes your child is delayed a little bit and you're not sure if something's wrong, and it takes a long time to actually get the diagnosis. Mary's program just takes an approach that makes getting them verbal and just really helping them with their skills, regardless of whether they are autistic. If you think your child is there's just a little bit slow, right? They're not, and I don't mean it like that, but you know what I mean? You notice as a parent that something is not quite there, then check out Mary's program, because she has helped so many people. I love the little things going back and forth between Elena and Mary. Yay! And Elena, so Mary's saying, I helped a few people for free in the beginning to get success stories and videos. Hooray! See, that is what you're supposed to do, right? That is what we want to do, because the social proof is just going to make it, as I like to say, it just makes it so much easier to sell. I'm so glad you're here, Mary, because I'm going to be showing some clips, and I'm not going to, I can't show you the whole clip. I posted a couple of them so you could look through it. If you didn't see them, just scroll down in Video Playground, so you can watch the clip to see how we edited that together. So again, how do you get your clients, students, customers to show up on video and look decent, is what I like to say. You ask them. You ask them to join you on a quick Zoom. How quick? 15 minutes. I just want to hop on a quick 10 to 15 minute Zoom with you, right? Because they know you, they like you, they're comfortable with you. And what you're going to do is have a conversation with them. You're not going to take out your notebook. Okay, I'm going to hit record now. Let's go, right? Like, that's not comfortable for anybody. And that's exactly what they're fearing. Most of the people, and I just did this for Mary, we're like, wait, are you recording? Because I'm chatting with them. Have a conversation with them. I always say video is a conversation. Imagine you're not recording. Now, as soon as we show up, I start recording, because that little thing they kind of don't notice, we're getting to know each other. The first thing I do is I help them find a place that has good light. Even without a video background, if someone's in complete darkness and it looks crappy, help them find somewhere where they're looking out the window. So the window is coming on their face. It's really important just to be able to see them and to hear them. It doesn't have to be perfect. And it's actually what I love about the Testimonial, and what I love about these little video clips they are imperfect in how they look. Some people's videos are really good looking because they have a great camera. Some are not because they're on their iPad or something like that. I generally, as a rule, ask people in the email to show up on a laptop or desktop, because Zoom will not record an iPad or iPhone. They won't do it 16:9, meaning the rectangle. While you're in Zoom, make sure you have your HD checked and they have their HD checked. And you can go find out. You can just Google it, but it's in your video settings, right? Make sure that you are recording the video to your desktop or to your computer, not to the cloud, because then it's going to squash it. When it records, it'll record a smaller file. That's okay. Again, we're not talking about putting this up on a Jumbotron. We're talking about having a conversation with someone that you've just worked with, and they're happy and they love you and they want to help you. Here's another hint. Do it as soon as the course ends, when they're still riding at that high, when they can still remember what lit them up. Live Video Launchpad goes for another couple days. They're going to get the ask April 1st. Hop on a call with me. I want to talk to you about your experience. I write down certain things that they say on the live calls so that I can ask them about that again. And that gets to when we're asking the questions, and I will go over that. But again, so here's the trick. And this is the reason we're doing this today too, is I just saw an ad for something, and it's this guy and he's interviewing someone. The other guy's video looks terrible, but it keeps flipping between whoever's talking. And that is horrible. So what you want to do is pin their video. Everybody's so used to Zoom now. If you don't know how to do that, just Google, how do I pin a video in Zoom? Pin their video. It only records them. Why shouldn't we record on the cloud? Because Mary, the cloud is busy. So the cloud compresses. So the quality you're going to get going straight from Zoom to your desktop is going to be better than if you record to the cloud. Also, in fun news, I've had clients lose entire programs and testimonials because the cloud didn't save them. And so I like the idea of the cloud, but I don't use the cloud. I don't use the cloud because the videos are too important to me to lose. So the quality is just higher because, again, you have to think about how many people are saving to the cloud and what they have to do. They have to compress the video because it's too big. And already Zoom is compressing it. So we don't want to compress it anymore. Will you notice? Nope. So if you're used to using the cloud or that's how your systems work, keep doing it that way. I just generally like to save everything to my desktop so it is the highest quality it can be, because again, we're talking about a Zoom video. It's not the bestest. You could use other things like StreamYard. I'm going through StreamYard right now. You could use StreamYard because StreamYard records at 1080, so that records big. I haven't figured out whether StreamYard you can pin someone else's video though, and that's the important part, because you'll see what I do is I cut out my questions. So even though I have 15 minutes of raw footage, we cut that down to about a minute or less to make the whole thing, right? And so I joke around that I can make anybody say anything I want. And all I mean by that is let them talk. You can cut out some of that stuff, but your job as the facilitator is to make sure they look good, sound good, and to just be the friend there. So they'll still see you, but you're just recording them. So they don't know. I mean, you can tell them it's just recording them. And then I try and get people to look into their camera and not off the side to me. That's the other thing. But I'm not a total stickler for it, because if it's a distraction or someone is nervous, having them like look into the camera and answer could be a little awkward. So what I will have them do is I try and help them move my picture up so it's as close to the camera as possible. But again, we're talking about real people, real footage. Even if someone shows up on their phone, it doesn't matter. You can still use that footage for your testimonials. So again, make it easy. I tell people no prep. I never, ever give the questions ahead of time. And here's why. When you give the questions ahead of time, people are answering from here. They're memorizing. They're like, oh, I want to say this about Mary and her girl. I don't want to forget to say this. Or, and then if they don't get it, they're flustered and they're like, let me just do that again. That's not what I practiced. And you don't want people answering from here. You want people answering from here. When I do have someone tune in, they'll email me back and be like, no, I require questions. I ask them to lean into the process, trust me that they know all of the answers. And then I tell them, I want you answering from your heart, not from your head. There's nothing you need to be prepared for, right? As a bonus, because I'm a video person, I send them like, what colors look best on video, right? Like all those things, but no, there's no prep. There is no prep. People show up with no makeup, that type of thing. I love that because that's them in real life, right? So again, pin their screen, make sure your HD settings are on. If you're recording in Zoom, you can kind of show them what I call virtual Botox, where they can make it a little softer. It also has a low light feature now. So if you're in a situation it's still a little bit too low, have them play with their low light so that it brings a little more light onto them. And quite honestly, I think Zoom's low light setting works quite well, because usually it gets a little bit grainy, but I think it looks great. And again, listen, have a chat with them. Again, start recording right away, but chat with them. Hear their audio. I will tell you, I've had some, and Mary, we had one, which probably you have no idea because we fixed it in editing, but there's a couple of people where it sounds great on Zoom, and then we bring it into editing and the audio is really low. I don't know why this happens. It happens every once in a while. It's the interwebs. You can't help it. There are things you can do to enhance the audio. It's fine. I've never had to hop back on and redo a video. I've never had to do that. No, nothing has ever happened where I'm like, oh God, I can't like edit around that. The clip I'm going to show you, we didn't have an ideal setting. Her things moving around a little bit because she just had nowhere to put it down, but I wanted her connecting. A lot of the time her dog must have had nails on hardwood floors. So sometimes, but I didn't want to stop her flow. She was really nervous and she was saying great things. So if something's happening during their answer, and don't stop them, be like, oh, wait, something's going on. Now, if they're video freezes or something, then yes, you have to stop it. But if I hear them say something and there's like I said, dogs going in the background, the door shuts, something rings, just re-ask them that part of the question. Be like, that was great. I'm going to have you just do one soundbite that just talks about this, and helps focus them down too. You're welcome for the great tips. I appreciate you back, Facebook user, right? So now let's move on. Let's move on to like the best questions to ask to elicit good answers, right? And then I'll show you Casey is someone I interviewed for Mary. And again, I also have another clip if we have time that I'll show you like where we started, and then I didn't like the setting because she was in darkness. And so we moved her to somewhere lighter. So the first thing I talked to, like Mary hopped on a call with me. She got a Testamagical. We talk about themes, threads, transformation. What are things you need people to know? So think back. Okay, you have coaching, you have a program, you have a membership, you have a book. What courses? What is it that you need people to know about that? Right? So that's what I'm talking about, like themes, threads, what kinds of results. Objections are a big one. And I did an entire like little clip. I asked, I think 10 LVL, which is Live Video Launchpad, because Live Video Launchpad takes 10 days. And a big objection I get is, I can't go from not knowing any live video to rocking my videos in 10 days. I can't, like that is people's internal perfectionist Patty speaking. So what did I do? I interviewed Live Video Launchpad folks. Now I asked them a bunch of other questions so I could use it for something else, but I edited together an entire like what is possible in 10 days. And every single person's talking about their own objection to it and how it's not true, or how they were like, how is Tracy going to actually do this in 10 days? And then she does it and then some, right? That's immediately overcoming an objection. So if you know that there is some sort of objection to whatever it is you're offering, because people don't think, Mary, I think about like, when we talk about autism and people get these diagnoses or they get something and they immediately, people say, well, there's nothing we can do. Because a lot of times mainstream will tell you there's nothing you can do, but there are. So again, with Mary's, it's one of the clips I love so much is like, you see this thing on the internet and you think it's got to be a scam. Because that's what people, so that the brilliance of that bite is not from me, it's from the person speaking, is that is exactly what she was thinking when she was looking up Mary's program. This has got to be a scam. And instead, and then from there, we talk about how it's the opposite. It has changed her life. It has changed her son's life. It has changed her family's life, right? That is the clip you want, right? Biggest surprise. There are two questions I love to ask. Either like biggest surprise or aha moment, and let people think, right? Like this, again, you said, you don't have to prep for anything. Let them think about it. Be like, oh, and then if they'll get it, and then just have them ask again. If it is your own course, a lot of people will want to say you, because you're talking to them. Stop them and just say, hey, do you mind saying Tracy's course or the name of the course? Because it won't make sense out of context. So it makes sense to you as you're having a conversation, but you're recording them. So these are just little tips when you're in there. If they're like, oh, your course really helped me. And people did this, Mary's, everybody I've done, they're like, oh, her book, her course. And I'm like, hey, do you mind just saying, hey, Mary's course, or right? Like that type of thing. So it's, those are just the little things. If you forget, who cares? Again, like you'll get better and better at it. I like to get as many as I can. To do a Testamagical, I require at least five people in order, because a Testamagical is a compilation of people talking about things, and then I extract little clips from each person. I like a minimum of 5 and a maximum of 10. And so the more you can get, the better. But again, you have to ask, and you may have to keep asking. And have a date set too. Like I would love to get you on before this date. I always do this with people. I'm like, hey, do you mind if I check back in April? And I just did this to Mary because I'm going to do a Testamagical about Testamagicals, right? Do you mind if I check back in with you in April? And she's like, great, do it at April 15th, right? Like it's planting the seed. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to ask you to do this for me. And people are happy to do it. So the two questions I like to ask, the biggest aha or the biggest surprise, and then where would you be? Think back. Where would you be if you hadn't taken Live Video Launchpad? Think back if you hadn't found Mary on the internet. where do you think your son would be right now? And that can be heavy, or it can be like one of these like, oh my gosh, I'd still be hiding on the sidelines, right? Like with something like for Live Video Launchpad, that's one thing. So these are the kinds of questions. The kind of, yes, thank you, Vicki. You're on the list. Don't worry. Sometimes it's just a matter of timing, and I get so many people responding. But yeah, so then we want results. So when I was talking about the difference between like a success story and a testimonial, testimonials like, yay, you're great, and all that kind of stuff. Success story is about the transformation. And what I mean by transformation are results, numbers. I did one for Josh, who is a Facebook ads expert. We talked about numbers. I had this many people on my list. Josh started doing ads for me. I now have 17,000 more than that. Those are numbers, which make him look really like, oh my God, I want someone who can get me 17,000 more people, right? Like we want ROI. We want money. We want, was it worth it? Again, with Live Video Launchpad, I think it's a total steal of a deal because of the amount of time and feedback you get from me. But some people, they're so used to just paying smaller amounts for, a shorter amount of time. So again, I want people to say like, I would have paid double for it. I have some people saying, I don't think she realizes she's not charging enough for it, which is one of my favorite things to put into it. Like those are the types of things, if price is an objection. If it's not an objection, you don't have to ask that question. But what we want are results and numbers. And this, my friends, is what sells. This is what does the selling for you. Because I can stand up all day long and tell you it's absolutely possible in 10 days to do this. It is absolutely, even if you've never hit live before, blah, 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 right? Like, but you keep hearing me and you're like, yeah, but you're a pro. Yeah, but you're really good on video. Yeah, but you're, right? You have your own little story track going on in there, but someone else gets up there and maybe they look a little bit like you. They don't look like perfectly polished, but right, and you're like, okay, they're telling me they're going live every week now. We're like, so suddenly, again, mirror neurons. I want that. I trust. So no and like come from you showing up personally. Again, Elena, you better be doing lives. You better be like, if you don't have anybody yet and you're not doing anything, your goal is using live video as a marketing tool to get more eyeballs on you and your offer and being able to offer this out, right? So that's part of your marketing plan should include live videos for sure. And then once you start get going, you can start including the video testimonials, right? And so another question I like to ask is, so Mary was a great example of this. In autism, number of words went from 2 to 500 or went from 100 to right, or they stopped spinning or they stopped doing right. Like, so those are tangible things. So if someone is in Mary's world and they're looking on the internet and they're like, my child is nonverbal. They're only saying a couple words. They're never going to say it. They're in a bad place. And they see someone who went through Mary's course who said, I honestly didn't think my child was going to talk. I just was trying to wrap my head around the reality that my child was never going to be able to communicate with me. To now they know they can ask me for something and we're having a dialogue, and right, like that's huge. Mary can tell you that that's going to happen, but they're going to be like, yeah, but you're a doctor. Yeah, but you wrote the book. Yeah, but, right? Like, so this is an opportunity for you to have other people telling your viewers it's possible, and not just possible, right? I did it. You can do it too, right? One of the things, another question I like to ask is, if someone's on the fence, and this I will tell them, I'm like, look into the camera, and if someone's on the fence about Live Video Launchpad or Mary's program, if someone's on the fence, what would you tell them? And then they'll connect and they'll be like, if you are thinking about taking this program, right, that's a great little clip just to use by itself, because they're connecting with the camera, they're looking out, they're clearly, not part of my team or anything like that. Mary's gone live every single day in March on Facebook, and I've seen you, and on YouTube 23 days in a row so far. Why? She's in launch. Her book is launching. She shows up. Why? She wants to be top of mind. There's going to be no question who's the authority in the autism world, because Mary's showing up all the time. And so there can be a lot of competition. I don't even think about it as a competition, but a lot of people can teach what I teach. but I show up all the time. One of my favorite things is to go to video people's like websites and stuff like that, or to their pages and see how many videos they have on there. There better be a lot, because if you're teaching other people to use video, you better be showing up doing video, right? Mary's own story reflects, what these people are seeking. And so it's really, really important. Right. And then, so one of the things Mary and I did, and your folks. So someone coming in, let's say Vicky's coming in, I would ask Vicky a question specific to her, specific to the niche and how she's using live video. For Mary, I would say, oh, this person booked a call with me to do the interview, and she could tell me a little bit about them. Oh, they have a grandson, or something specific to that person, which makes it much better, because then not everybody's saying the same things. It's a specific situation about how they interacted with your course, and it becomes much more personal. So when I talk about editing, you're not in there. So what you're going to do is, my process is, I get all the raw footage. I literally have a folder called raw footage for whatever program it is. And then we'll go back through, and I just take out the usable bites, is what I call them. Because a lot of it, out of 15 minutes, there's maybe 4 minutes of usable bites, but I take them down onto a line for the editor, and I'll put little notes, right? So that I can remember when I'm trying to put the story together, or I'll put, use this as a clip, because in that one statement, it's 50 something seconds and it's perfection. And that's it. Then you have it. You don't have to use it. It doesn't have to be fancy. We obviously edit it so it's branded and looks nice and has, URL and animation on the back and stuff like that. But you don't need that if you're just doing it yourself, right? Now, if you're like, yeah, I don't want to do that, I just want to hire you to do it. Yeah, send me an email, Tracy@videoscriptsuccess.com. I think Mary can tell you it is well worth the money to do it, so that she doesn't have to. She showed up for a half an hour. Thank you. Aloha. I do all the work. That's the benefit of this high touch Test-O-Magical program. But if you're like, no, I want to do this, I want to get my people on, don't miss this opportunity. So I am going to show you some clips, because when I talk about editing, I just edit myself out. Let's see, I'm going to share. I'm going to share the original. This is the original. So this is 15 minutes and 26 seconds. So I interviewed Casey for 15 minutes and 26 seconds. That is only 15 minutes out of my life, right? We show up, we schedule it, make it easy for them. So when I gave, Mary sent out an initial email, it had my calendar link, they book it, it has reminders. Don't let people off the hook. Like, it's amazing. It was amazing letting Tracy do it. Thanks, Mary. Yeah. And that's everybody who has gotten a Test-O-Magical was like, oh my God, right, because we just showed up a little bit. There's a little bit of back and forth of like, do you like this clip? Do you like this animation? Right. But otherwise, it's really hands-off for the owner of the course or the program. I've done it for memberships. I've done it for one of my favorite ones to talk about is a construction company. And how I got the construction company is the woman who owns the construction company was a Test-O-Magical participant for somebody else. And she was like, I love the idea of this. Can you do this for my construction company? I was like, yes, we can. Right. And so it's really fun to show that even a construction company, they're not online, they were using it on their homepage. They were using it on social media, like on House. And so again, you can see right, we're talking, set up, she's talking, smiling, having fun. Like, I'm just recording from the minute we get on there to the minute that we stop. Or I'll stop it and then I'll thank them, right? And so from those 15 minutes, then we get this. Oh, no, I don't want to do a video file. Oh, I see, I could have shared a video file. Look, I just found something new, everybody. I could have done the video file, but let's see. So again, this is a little more branded. Let's see, we can do this. I don't know if the audio is, oh no, that's my 15 minutes again. Oops, no, that's not, here it is. Okay, here we go. Right, so I don't think you can hear it, but this is because I'm not showing it as but you see it's branded, it has branded, but you see it's just 1 minute and 6 seconds. It's one bite. And sometimes I don't think this one has a cut in it. Isn't that animation awesome? It is. Right, so you don't have to, sometimes you don't have to cut the little individual clips. Sometimes you can, and you don't have to worry about it just being from a cut to a cut. Again, sometimes someone will tell you, they'll start and they'll have this great they'll start and then they'll kind of go off in story. You can help them come back, or you can let them try and finish off and then just take where they went off and put those two together. Right? So, oh, Elena says going live in 5 minutes. All right, Elena. Right? So that's it's not fancy. We don't do a lot of fancy editing. I do a little bit of color again, like it's Testamagical. We do some sound sweetening and colorizing and that type of thing. But it can be fast, and it can simply be a conversation with whomever it is. That whether it's client, student, product, whatever, this can be used for pretty much everything. And again, where can you use this? Everywhere, right? Like your homepage, your sales page, your waitlist page. I have a video on my waitlist page, social media, and then ads. They really work well for ads. And I will tell you, my own ads person, the full Testamagical is nice, which is the compilation, right? And the compilation's great, but for ads, he finds that it's actually the individual clips about the people, the little short ones, the little 57 or minute ones. Those are the ones that really do well as ads. And again, you're putting a human face to your program. You are literally saying this person had success and you can too. Real people, real results. That's what I always say the Testamagical is, right? Like it's the compilation is great for sales pages, for a homepage, for waitlist page, that type of thing. But the little individual clips are really great just to share. And like I said, like, especially if you have like an objection or something like that, you can ask the people the same question to make sure that you can string together, right, the answers. So again, the 10-day one, I said to every single participant who came on video with me, I said, is it possible to learn how to go live and do well in lives in 10 days? And of course, they all had a different version of it, which is what I want. But stringing that together is just such a different way to present that information. Again, if you have questions or you're watching on the replay, let me know. If you're like, yeah, that sounds so great, but I don't want to do it. I want you to do it. Tracy@videoscriptsuccess.com. Don't worry about it. I gotcha. It's fun. It's not, it's not a fast thing. You can't say like, I'm launching next week and I need some, what do you think, Mary? I think it takes, so great question, Jennifer. I see that in a second. From start to finish, probably a little over a month, depending on the launch times. And because I have to make sure I can fit it into my calendar schedule, the editor's schedule, those types of things. But I wouldn't say less time than a month. Like I can't really do it in under a month. Jennifer says, do you get any permission to use their image in writing? So Mary actually sent out, which I loved, is part of our initial email. They would get a reminder, and then I would have them sign something, which was a DocuSign. So I didn't have to do anything. I just sent them a link to give Mary permission to use the footage. For me, when I have people showing up, I'm telling them that why we're doing it. When you're showing up to do a video like that, you have permission to do it. You can actually get, we've done this on in Pro Video. Sometimes you're on the fly and you can't have someone stop and sign something. We'll have them say into the camera, you have my permission to use this. I wouldn't do it at the head of it. I do it at the end and be like, oh, do you mind just looking in the camera and say your name and say that Tracy has permission to use this video online. Make it super bland. But again, I only ran into one problem once, and it wasn't necessarily with permission as much as I don't think the woman understood where it would be shown, and she did not have the support of her husband or family. And so by Mary, once she saw that it was going to be like on Facebook, she freaked out and like said, can't use the footage. And we understood. It was right. Like, that's okay. I think, so I make it very clear though, how it's being used and where it's being used, because you don't want someone, thank you, Mary. You don't want someone showing up and then being like, oh no, you can't use this. Like, okay, thank you for that. The other thing you can do is once you have all this raw footage, have it transcribed so that you have their words, because there's so much that falls onto the editing floor. Again, in a little 15-minute thing, I only use 5 minutes. That means there's 10 minutes of maybe some other great little things she said, but she didn't say it in one little package, but you still have them and you can use it for a written testimonial with her picture. Right? So Tara says, how do you work on questions that pull out heartfelt emotions? Obviously not yes or no questions. No, when I went over some of the questions, you never do yes or no questions. They have to be, again, my favorite one to ask is, where do you think you would be without Mary's program? Right? That's a very heartfelt thing. Or what was one of the biggest surprises about Live Video Launchpad? And most people will say something like, they're not going to say, like, it's a surprise. It was, and I get all sorts of answers for that. One was, I didn't realize how easy it was going to be to get over myself. I really never thought I'd be able to do it, but it was easy. And by day 2, I was going live on my own page, right? Like, so I get all different kinds of answers. So you just craft the question in a way. So here's the thing, Tara, is like, when you're thinking about your business, again, going back to like, what are some of the objections? What are some of the threads, themes, transformations? So when we think about Tara offering what she offers, what is it you need people to know to press the button and buy? That's what you want to get the people to say, right? In their own way, in their own words. I never stop people from saying, if they have to think about something, I let them, and sometimes I leave it in. That's human, right? Great questions. Again, if you're watching on the replay, #replay, but do ask your questions. But I really want everybody thinking, and if you're thinking, oh, I don't really have this yet, everybody should be collecting social proof. It is what is going to make or break you, because again, you can be the greatest teacher in the world, but if you don't have anybody or anything to back up what you do, people they're not going to buy. So over here, nodding my head, but you can't see me. Okay. Thanks for the text, because I didn't see you, Terry. Funny enough, like, I didn't see you nodding. Yeah, I'm glad you got it. So glad you got it. I missed you today. But anyway, I'm here. Ask me questions. Again, if you're like, I just really don't want to do it myself, I want you to do it, that's fine. I have people asking all the time. Like I said, I can only take a certain amount of them every month. I think I have one more spot left for April. So that means that, like, get on, and we talk about it on a Zoom, like, are you a good fit or are you not a good fit? I've had someone hop on recently and I said, I need you to get 2 more people and then we can do one, because I'm not going to waste your money or time or my time, right? Trying to extract out of like 3 people. So like I said, minimum of 5 people. But again, if you're just doing this for yourself, that's for the Test-O-Magical. So we can do a compilation clip and individual clips. If you're doing it for yourself, as soon as your course is over, as soon as you stop working with someone, get them on a Zoom and ask them some questions. It's only going to take, I always say, 10 or 15 minutes of your time. Sometimes we go for like a half an hour or whatever because we're chatting. I don't care about that, as long as they don't care about that. I'm very mindful of their time. And I always send out the reminder emails, the don't worry, you don't need to prep for anything. It's best if you use a laptop, but if you don't, that's okay, right? Like, you just want to give them an out, but getting that footage is really going to help you. And even if you sit on it for right now because you're not sure what to do with it, that's better than not having it, because as soon as it slips away too quickly, like, I love that Vicky's on here and like, oh, I'll do a video for you, because I went through and I asked and a bunch of people responded. So I had enough. So I didn't ask again. And so, the fact that Vicky went through 2 cohorts again and still wants to hop on is great. If you don't think I'm writing Vicky's name down, of course I am, right? Like, oh, Vicky checked the box, she wants to come on, right? Like, so again, a lot of times what I find is people fear asking, and your people really want to help out, but make it as easy as possible for them. That is all I have for today. I will not be here next week. I am, after 2 back-to-back launches, I am taking a week off. So I'm taking Wednesday to Wednesday, and then recovering on Thursday and Friday from taking off. But so I am taking the week off, but I will see you the following week. Mahalo. Yeah, we'll watch the replay. Yes, totally. Yes, heck yeah. Great. But yeah, so watch on the replay. There's plenty. If you're in here in Video Playground, just scroll through. There are lots of videos to keep you busy for a week. Of course, I'll be checking in and saying hi, but yeah, this mama needs a mental break and I'm taking one. So I will see you. Sorry about the hoots. I love your hoots. I don't know who it is, but we love hoots. But I will see you 2 weeks on Wednesday. What day is that? Like April something? Do you like that? April something. April 7th. I will see you on April 7th on a Wednesday at our normal time. It's been fun. Thank you very much. I will enjoy my downtime, and I will see you all. But again, you have a week. This is like an integration week. Do something video, post it in the comments. What are you going to do while Tracy's away? Make me a proud video mama. I'll see you then. Take care.